I'm back. And today's topic is about cutting people off. Okay? Now listen to me. I think cutting people off is a necessity and it is healthy. I want you to say it after me. Cutting people off is a necessity and it is healthy. See? Wasn't that hard? That is how easy it is to cut people off. Now, of course, your mind will create a whole thing about it. Your mind will go crazy. It'll start giving you excuses as to why you should not cut people off. Don't believe it. It is still your mind. Okay. You see, you have to train your mind so that it can make itself up. That's, the statement, make your mind up. And it can stand by the decisions that it has made, especially if you have logically, thoughtfully, critically understood the consequences of those actions. Okay? Because sometimes your mind will lie to you, not because it wants to, but because it wants to comfort you and it likes you being comfortable. So it'll tell you, what if you miss this person? What if retaliate? What if someone does it to you? What if? You have so many what ifs, you will never cut anyone off if you listen only to your mind that is trying to protect you because it is used to the way you already think and behave. Remember, your mind is yours. You are meant to be in control of it. It is not meant to be in control of you. Okay? Now, let's take a step back. Let me make a proper introduction into this topic, okay? Right. Welcome back to my channel. My name is, I don't know what name I'm using for this channel. I think I'm using Nadia for this channel. I have my original government name, and then I have my original cultural name that I love. So my name is Adia, right? If you can't pronounce it, learn. My name is Adia, and I talk about several different topics, right? I just like once in a while I just get topics in my head, and I'm like, boom, let's talk about this. I am not a content creator, but I do like creating content, which basically is just like my thought process. I like sharing it with you. So hopefully you will subscribe, listen, comment, have a conversation. Maybe it'll broaden your mind and mine because I learn every day. Okay. So cutting people off is a very important aspect of life that many of us have been taught to undermine. We have been taught to ignore. We have been taught to not talk about, not deal with, not even think about. So when you have someone tell you it is okay to cut people off, there is this, first of all, sometimes a defense mechanism that comes in, right? Or a wall. It's like, why would I do that? That's not fair, right? Because sometimes it's because you wouldn't like it. Oh, sorry, my phone's going off. Sometimes it's because you wouldn't like it. Sometimes it's because, you're scared. Sometimes it's because there's so many reasons why you may not be comfortable cutting people off. But here, let me tell you this. Sometimes you just need to not be around certain people to be able to understand yourself better. Point one. Sometimes you need to not be around certain people to be able to start having a voice of your own. Point two. Sometimes you need to not be around certain people to be able to create a better community of other people that are more healthy for you physically, psychologically, mentally, economically, all of those things outside of those other people. Sometimes the people you need to cut off, my light has gone off. Sometimes the people you need to cut off are family. Sometimes they're friends you've had for ages. Sometimes they are teachers. Sometimes they're mentors. Sometimes they're content creators you've been following for a long time that you've never given a second thought to. But sometimes it's them and you need to cut them off. Cutting people off is, to me, a very humane way of telling people this is my boundary and I do not want to deal with you. Please leave. It's very simple. It doesn't hurt them physically. So they will be healthy enough physically to either make a change, to learn, learn, to do new things, to become better people, to learn and unlearn and maybe still come back into your space if they've changed the thing that you were not comfortable with that made you put up a boundary. Cutting people off is a humane way of telling people, I respect you as a person, as a human being, but I don't want you in my space, but I still want you to live as a human, but just outside of my sphere, outside of where I exist, right? But you can still exist. I'm not gonna, force you to do anything. I'm not going to carry out any physical threats or any physical violence against you. I'm not going to emotionally manipulate you. No, I'm just saying go away and let me be. Now, it's difficult for some people when you tell them go away and let me be because for them it feels like you stabbed them in the back, in the front, in the chest, in the arm. It feels like you have physically hurt them. The emotional response feels like a physical, like it was coming from a physical wound, but it's not because they themselves are not emotionally healthy. If someone cuts me off today, right, apart from the fact that I will have to, like, I would want to understand why I'm being cut off because if it's something I can learn or relearn, I would love to do it. But if you cut me off with no explanation, right, which first of all, I would think personally, I would think at least tell me what happened, before you cut me off so that I have a chance to either change or say I'm not going to change or do you understand? That is more respectful when you at least tell the person this is what, right? You've given them a chance to learn or to change or to come to you or to communicate and they have not done it, right? So if you do that and I refuse to change, then that is fine. You cutting me off, I will understand that I am the reason, right? That relationship is not working. At least I will. Some people will not. Many, many people that you try to cut off will not understand why you, no matter how many times you tell them, no matter how many times, because many of us are not emotionally mature. Emotional maturity, it's a learned skill. It's a learned skill. Many of our parents, they physically matured, but they never emotionally matured. So when you try to have conversations with them, you, the child, in this day and age where many things rely on emotional maturity, it's difficult for them to understand, to grasp, to gauge because they themselves were not given the space, they were not allowed, they were not given the skills, they never learned the skill of emotional maturity. And sometimes most of them, to their credit, want to learn now. And so many of their children now become their teachers, which is another difficult topic altogether. But emotional maturity is what will allow you to understand when and who needs to be cut off because that is your boundary. Okay? You need to understand what boundaries are. You need to understand when and where and how and for what reason you need to put up boundaries. You need to understand the boundaries that you need to set for yourself. You can't just wake up and cut people off. No. It's, you know, there are steps, there are skills, right? Because again, cutting people off, that's just a statement. It can be both negative, it can be both positive, right? That's just the thing. Like a truly narcissistic person could wake up and just cut everyone out of their life, thinking, "Oh, I'm doing the." No, that's not the emotionally mature thing. That's not what we're talking about here. No, it's not. Okay, you have to have learned, understood, sat with your emotions, felt your emotions, understood, interpreted your emotions, whether only with yourself or with other people within community, and then you will understand where the need to cut people off comes from. First of all, you should be following anybody, anyhow. That's a Nigerian saying. Don't follow anybody anyhow. Okay. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I can't believe my favorite content creators they voted for Trump. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to unfollow many content creators." Why were you following them in the first place? You didn't you didn't engage the people you were following? Really, come on. Think about it. You're friends with people that don't align with you. And I don't mean like you don't like cheese, I like cheese. No, that don't align with you politically, emotionally, psychologically, physically, like a general foundation of morality. You're hanging around people that their morality is so different from yours. And you're like, no, we can be friends. How? When it comes down to the nitty gritty. I hope that's an okay statement. When it comes down to, brass tacks. Ah, I don't know what that statement means. When it comes down to it, the person with this morality, if you did something, would they, with that morality, what decision would they make? Because a basis, a foundational idea of morality is where most of your decisions come from. So if you're friends with someone that has such a different morality than you, what decisions will they make in situations that you may find yourself in? What decisions will you make in situations they will find themselves in? And how does that come together? Is that the kind of person you need to have within your circle, or does that person need to be cut off? Cutting people off is a very nuanced topic, and I think maybe I might make this a series. Might have to make more videos on this, more detailed, right? But this was just the first one. Wanted to just put that out there. Kind of get your feedback on what you think about cutting people off, if it's important to you, if it's something you've done before. Yeah. Middle of this, my light went off. This is gonna be a dark video, but I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And have a good day.